Shalom, family. It's good to see everybody here. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. And you're going to hear about yet more things they are doing for migrants and not doing for the American people. But y'all, part of me believe they are intentionally trying to destroy the system because, I mean, let's face it, they're not reproducing. And if you're not reproducing, then your days of leading are numbered. You soon won't even have enough people to pass things down to. So, yeah, so it's one of those, well, if I can't run it, nobody else will. I don't think so. So, this, in my opinion, is a slap in the face to anyone that lives in California. But make no mistake, they're probably doing this wherever these migrants are, not just California. Not, it's not just them. All right, let me share my screen. Okay, can everybody see the screen? All right. Okay. Yeah, I see all that stuff going on with TikTok. Possibly will get banned. And, for us, I don't think it's going to change. They always been trying to diminish our voices. It doesn't matter if it's TikTok or YouTube. They all do the same thing when it comes down to us. All right, get that. Mm, Okay, now we're in business. Okay, now let's get to this bill that is being proposed in California. Okay. So, what's happening here, ladies and gentlemen, is California is trying to push legislation that would grant money. The state is actually going to pay money to an attorney to represent violent migrants that are that have committed crimes and they're being convicted. So California is not going to give them the public defender like they do Americans. If you don't have the money to get an attorney, they give you the public defender. Well, they're not even offering the public defender to the migrants. They're going to foot the bill on paying their lawyer, their attorney fees for violent crimes. Not for Americans, but for migrants, illegals. So, a California Assembly member, Reginald Jones Sawyer, a Los Angeles Democrat, this is a Democrat introducing this bill. He introduced this back in February that would amend the state's One California program, which provides grants to nonprofits and programs providing legal services for immigrants who otherwise may struggle to afford to do so. I mean, these attorneys who don't struggle to pay an attorney. Seriously. The proposed changes to the program comes as immigration remains a major sticking point in national politics and amid a rise in asylum seekers across the US Mexico border. There were more than 2.4 million encounters at the US Mexico border during 2023 fiscal year, up from 1.7 million back in 2021, according to the US Customs and Border Protection data. Republicans have pushed for more stringent border protections aimed at limiting the number of migrants able to enter the country. So, yeah, but the Republicans say that, but y'all, they're not physically doing anything to stop these people at all, you know? And it's almost like both sides are playing everybody. So, the Democrats have said the country has an obligation to hear asylum seeker cases, largely supporting more protections for immigrants. So, this bill that's being pushed, if it becomes law, it would make the number of changes to how the grant money could be spent. One change proposed in the bill that would no longer be restricted from migrants, and that is getting legal counsel. Can you imagine that? You get in trouble for a violent crime you committed, and in return, California is going to foot the bill for you to get an attorney, but offer the American citizens a public defender, and most of them are just terrible. Most of them are terrible. Existing law prohibits use of the grant funds to provide legal services to an individual who has been convicted of or who is currently appealing a conviction for a violent or serious felony. This bill would remove that exclusion, and you'll be able to use the funds even for the most violent crime. Notably, some studies have suggested that migrants are less likely to commit crimes than natural born US citizens. They keep saying this over and over. I think this is like a guilt complex. It really is. So, now they're saying that a Stanford University study published back in July of 2023 found that immigrants are 60% less likely to become incarcerated. Well, yeah, if you keep arresting them and then letting them go and arresting them even when they beat up on cops and then let them go, yeah, it's going to look like you're not incarcerating any of them when actually, if it was an American citizen that kicked a cop around in the head while they were on the ground, you would be in there for years. So I think the study is really bogus because we have seen how they'll apprehend these migrants and not even a full 24 hours later, they're back on the street and don't have to post bail. So I guess if you're going to arrest them like that, then yeah, it's going to look like they're not committing any crimes. They're not doing anything. Mm-mm-mm. All right. So the bill would also make changes to criteria for organizations providing legal services to undocumented minors and expand qualifying services, having an intent to reside in or having a nexus to the state to include services for removal defense. So, of course, the bill has sparked a lot of criticism. Some conservatives put an X on social media platform formerly known as Twitter. So they went on X after it was shared by a prominent account at End Wokeness. Wow. That's what you call yourself, End Wokeness, really? The post was viewed more than 10 million times by Monday afternoon. When is enough enough? Elon Musk wrote. I honestly think these insane liberal lunatics just play games to see how far they can go and how far they can push their mail in voters. Well, apparently, it's not much. They have rigged it up where it's not much the citizens can do. You saw what happened in Chicago. They should have been able to vote on whether they wanted Chicago to be a sanctuary city or not. And they took those voting rights away from the citizens. So when you see stuff like that, it's all rigged. And so now California is willing to spend millions of more dollars to give legal representation to migrants, y'all. Mm. Yeah, X marks the spot in April. Yeah. Well, I hope when X marks that spot that these folks don't have too much longer in power. It would be counterproductive for X to mark the spot and we got to go another 10 years with them over us. That would be a nightmare. So I sure hope we are looking at the very end now. I really do, because as long as these folks stay in power, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. When have we ever seen this government spend 1 red cent on getting good legal representation for any of our people that get in trouble. No, they never do. They give you that crappy public defender. That's who they give you. But even they know it's crappy, and that's why they're not offering it to the migrants. Mhm. Wow, y'all. Well, I looked on the calendar and it said around the 19th is when the sun crosses back over the equator and it becomes our spring. So it looks like we are about 6 days away from our Hebrew spring. So we're almost there. We are almost there. And then I think a few days later, that's when the Gentiles have their spring. So it's next week. This is really our last full week of winter. This is it, y'all. This is it. So there's a lot that's going to be happening. Yes, we do know about the eclipse. I think we're 25 days away from the great American eclipse. And please remember that I will be broadcasting that eclipse. I got permission from Time and Date, and I will be broadcasting the entire thing over here on live stream. So you should start seeing that my post probably starting around April 1st. I'll post it for everybody to see. That way you'll see it for more than a week, like 8 days. So I will have it out there. Mhm. And I'll also be posting when I'll do my Passover, just to let you know when I will be doing it. So I know people say 14 days. From what I read, it's 14 days or the full moon is when you begin. So I will let you know. I will post all of that information in the community tab. So just be on the lookout for it. And y'all, we are not that far off from doing our Hebrew holiday. And I'm gonna have to get something special, maybe some wine or get me something really good for dinner that day for our Hebrew spring. I look so forward to it every year. And I know many of you do as well. So I'm not going to keep you any longer. Thank you for coming. Be on the lookout for other live streams that I'll be setting up. I'm thinking about doing one for TikTok if they are officially banned. It looks like it's heading in that direction. They did a vote this morning to be allowed to amend, you know, uh, a bill they already have in place. So what they're ultimately doing is trying to force the TikTok owner to sell, either sell or get banned. That's their option for TikTok, sell or be banned. So it'll be interesting to see that outcome, y'all. you know? And like I said before, in our case, it won't matter at all because it doesn't matter what platform it is because they all stifle our voices. They all do. They'll make sure them folks get millions of views and millions of subscribers, and then they make sure they bury us so that doesn't happen. So it don't matter whether TikTok is there or not, or all the rest of them, they all do the same thing when it comes down to us. So y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Shalom, family.